Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me today. My name is Aisha Spearman, and I have a resume writing and career coaching business based in San Francisco, California. If you want to find out more about me and the services that I offer, you can go to workinggirlsresumeservice.com. So today we're going to be talking about how to successfully overcome barriers to employment. So some of us might have more experience, unfortunately, in this area than others. There are different things that happen to each of us that might prevent us from moving forward in our career. So we're going to talk about what some of those situations look like, how we can potentially overcome those when it comes to moving forward, applying for jobs, going through the interview process, that sort of thing. So the process of getting a job seems relatively straightforward. You find a job posting that is relevant, you apply to the job, and maybe you're lucky enough to land the job. Barriers to employment make the playing field incredibly difficult for many candidates. The term barriers to employment refers to anything that inhibits one's ability to get or keep a job. When you begin to think about it, there are a lot of factors that can come between you and your ongoing income. Here's this list of barriers to employment. You might want to add to it, or you can leave a comment after you watch this video, letting me know what's something that held you back from being able to continue with a particular job posting. So for instance, your age, your criminal background, your disabilities, including physical, mental, intellectual, developmental, or addiction related. You might be a victim or survivor of domestic violence. Might be your educational background. Maybe you didn't get the necessary credentials or degree needed. Maybe there's employer bias. I have seen or heard actually in my own experience as a candidate not that long ago how recruiters will post a position, you interview for it, and then when you don't hear back, sometimes they respond and let you know, hey, we actually hired internally, or maybe you're not the right fit, or they don't necessarily give you all of the information and let you know what's going on behind the scenes. So definitely can understand that. There's also gaps in employment. With the pandemic, we're probably seeing that more often. We were seeing it before, but now more than ever because there was a lot of companies hiring, as you can imagine. About 6 months to a year ago, the frenzy started, and now with many layoffs happening in corporate America in particular, there's been some setbacks there. So feel free to get in touch if you need help writing your resume. Financial trouble is another one. Housing instability. Again, we don't necessarily put where you're located on a resume. Sometimes we do. I think there's certain scenarios where it could be helpful if you're in a specific industry like green energy. A lot of people like to say they're based in, Silicon Valley, that sort of thing. Childcare access can sometimes be hard. I know there's been some communities or neighborhoods getting together to be able to help people go back to work, to help parents go back to work in particular. Social media content, if an potential employer sees something that you posted on sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and they don't necessarily agree with that. I've heard that can sometimes hold you back as a candidate. Skills and training, that's something that I can help you with. We can also make sure to include whatever's relevant for your particular industry. And prior work experience, maybe you don't have enough experience, maybe you have too much of a varied work history there. Feel free to get in touch after you watch this video, and we can customize the resume, and I can coach you on how to properly talk about your previous work experience. That way it's really geared towards the position that you're applying for. So most likely you'll experience one or more employment barriers at some point in your career journey. So for example, you want to find a job, but employers won't accept your application because you have a criminal record. You might want a job as an interior designer or as a teacher, but you don't have the appropriate licensing credentials. Or you might still, be in school or going through the education process. You might be seeking a new job, but the company requires a high school diploma or a GED, and you don't have either of those. Resources are available that can help you remove these particular obstacles so that you have a better chance when it comes to landing a new job. You can continue reading or listening rather, so you can learn more about specific barriers to employment and have access to links that can offer helpful resources. So for age discrimination, it can be frustrating when you had larger than life dreams of being a millionaire. I hope you still have those dreams at the age of 10, but couldn't get adults to hire you. It's even more confusing when you're older, have the right experience, and have difficulty convincing employers that you're just as valuable as the latest crop of college grads. Learn how to stave off retirement and stay relevant in the workplace. Again, please get in touch. There's a lot of great networking opportunities out there, especially since COVID. There's a lot of information available through sites like ga.co, General Assembly. They've been around for quite some time. Depending on where you're located, you can look to see if your local library has online or in-person resources. I'm based in San Francisco, California, so I'm always seeing what information is available, also to see if I'm giving you the most relevant information as well. If you possess a criminal record when it comes to barriers to employment, that can disrupt candidates' chances of getting hired. But did you know that 1 in 3 Americans has a criminal record? That's kind of scary to think about. There are ways that you can lessen the impact your criminal history has on your candidacy. Again, if you've done any, I'm not sure if this would make a difference. In my personal opinion, it might, but volunteer work, any apprenticeships or any internships that you might have done. A lot of people, when if they happen to be in the prison system, they get their degree, they volunteer. All of that stuff can be really helpful when it comes to talking about a comprehensive version of your work experience. So that's something that we can talk about if you decide to work on your resume. Disabilities, becoming informed regarding your job rights when it comes to disclosing a disability before, during, or after you've landed the job. Again, there's different versions of disability. There's physical, there's intellectual, there's all kinds of things. So you might want to think about if it's something that's going to affect how you work day to day, or if you don't feel like sharing it, that might be an option as well. Your educational background. So people often boast about the benefits of staying in school. Completing high school reduces your risk of unemployment. That's kind of a standard, especially I'm a millennial, so that's been considered like, you probably want to have a few degrees at this point, but even with that, it depends on what industry you're going into as well. So you can learn how to get your GED and boost your potential opportunities for the near future. If you haven't graduated from high school, I think getting the GED can really boost your chances. If you don't feel like getting a college degree, if you don't feel like continuing your education in a traditional sense, there are many certifications, courses available online if you want to learn more about coding. A lot of that information is readily available. So I encourage you to find potentially non-traditional ways of getting educated and upskilling. So there are employment gaps. We all have them. If you took time to raise your family, care for a loved one who got sick during COVID, if you volunteered or got credentialed, say you wanted to switch industries during the past couple of years, a lot of people went from retail and hospitality into the tech world, or at least were attempting to. A great way to do that is to learn more about different coding skills like Java, things that people are using on a regular basis, right? Agile, that's another one. it can help you re-enter the workforce and make your life a little bit simpler in the end. So, for example, we know that children are career disruptors. COVID-19 also added to that. Unfortunately, it reduced mothers' participation within the workforce. I've read recently that it's changing, that a lot of moms are re-entering or finding new and creative ways as an entrepreneur, which is kind of exciting. But yes, we want to encourage you to be able to work again. It's important to have an income. We don't want women to be intimidated either. So I can provide additional tips on how you can learn to structure your resume if you plan to return from parental leave. That's another one that I've seen really often, even moms who were not in the workforce for about a decade. So COVID has been really interesting for human resources, let me tell you. Financial troubles, debt can be a huge burden on your life, and it can be a stumbling block on your way to a new job. Money holds up a lot of people, and some employers can see your financial instability as a reflection of your own lack of responsibility. If you're worried about a credit check for employment, there are steps you can take to turn your situation around. For social media content, employers will check your social platforms as part of the screening process. I'm not sure how intrusive they are for that, but you might want to, consider that depending on, a lot of people like in the legal field, for instance, it might apply to them. If you have to sign an NDA disclosure agreement as part of your employment, it might apply to you in that instance. So inappropriate content can hinder your chances of receiving a potential job offer. Before you begin job hunting, consider doing a social media cleanup in order to keep up appearances. Childcare access is another one. If you're a parent, you know that it's a full-time job, and when you want to go back to work, you'll need to find someone who can take care of your kids. There are resources that can help you when it comes to learning more about affordable childcare options that are available so that you can return to your career. Skills and training. If you don't have the time or the money to earn a bachelor's degree, I still encourage you to see what other options are out there. I talked about getting certified, especially if you want to become an engineer of some sort. Getting certified in a particular coding language can help you. There's a lot of courses on ga.co, as well as some other sites as well. If you already have some experience as an engineer, I recommend having a personal website or adding to your portfolio on sites like LinkedIn and GitHub. Those are also really helpful. If you're tight on funds, there are many resources that offer low cost and free job training to strengthen your skill set. I know EDD, your local EDD office, if you go to their website, you could probably find out more about online job fairs. I know they've been having those. And they're also hiring. So look into that if you're interested in pursuing human resources, or you could be more of an entrepreneur like myself. If you have a particular specialty in mind, or you just got certified, look into that. I encourage you to do that. If you have no relevant work experience, not enough prior professional experience haunts many job seekers. One way to urge employers to consider your application, regardless of what you lack, work with a resume writer like myself to help demonstrate your transferable skills and how they might be relevant to the position that you're applying for. Well, that's all I had for you guys today. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment below to let me know what you thought of this video, if you felt it was helpful. Looking forward to providing additional content for you more regularly. It's been a while, but I love chatting with you guys. If you need help with resume or coaching services, feel free to send me an email, aishaspearman@gmail.com. My contact information is in the About section, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Take care and have a great day.